Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Dr. Yvonne Commodore Mensah. I am president and co-founder of the Ghanaian Diaspora Nursing Alliance, and I'll turn it over to our co-founder, Matilda, to introduce herself. Dr. Decker?
Yes, yeah, it is afternoon where I am, so good afternoon. But definitely good evening to our GMT folks. I am Matilda Decker. I am the other co-founder and vice president of the Ghanaian Diaspora Nursing Alliance. It is such a pleasure to have everyone here to listen to what InSpring has to say about international nursing educational opportunities. And as you all know, if you know anything about GDNA, if you're new here, one of our missions is to foster sustainable local global collaboration between Ghanaian nurses in Ghana and the diaspora to advance nursing education. So this is definitely appropriate. And if you have colleagues that are supposed to be on them on this webinar, please remind them so you don't want them to miss this great information and webinar. So I will go ahead and pass this over to Eric and Jason and the InSpring team.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure. We're so excited to be here today. And thank you, everyone who has joined us. Thank you so much to the entire GDNA organization for having us here today. My name is Eric Furstein. I'm going to give you some pictures so you can see who we are before we even actually start the, really getting into the webinar. But I wanted to say, my name is Eric Furstein. You can see I'm the Vice President of Recruitment here at InSpring. And our entire goal today is to help you to understand how, why, where, when you can come study a Bachelor of Nursing in the United States. And we have some amazing people here, as you know, to speak with. So I will pass it over to Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina. I'm located here in Los Angeles, and I'm the Senior Manager for Immigration Services here at InSpring. So I handle everything immigration for our clients and also our candidates, making sure everyone understands the U.S. immigration system, but also, what's the best path for them. And yeah, that's me. I will pass it over to Jason. Thank you.
Thanks, Sabrina. Hi, everyone. My name's Jason Garbarino. I'm the Talent Director for Healthcare at InSpring. I've been a registered nurse for 16 years now and taught nursing for 11 years at the University of Vermont. I was the director of their undergraduate nursing program before joining InSpring. Really excited to get to meet everyone. My goal and passion is to look at ways to not only grow, but diversify the global nursing workforce. And really excited today to talk about educational opportunities for you to join the profession.
Thanks, Jason. All right, so why don't we get into it? And today is all about what you see on the screen, which is how do you go from where you are right now on a Zoom call to studying in the United States, a Bachelor of Nursing? We're not here to just do a Zoom because we like to hear ourselves talk. I mean, I like to hear myself talk, but I'll just speak for myself. We want you all to know all the ins and outs of how do you get to the United States. There are a lot of components to your visa, to applying. So we're going to go through all of that today, and let's get started. So again, this is all about you going from Zoom to studying in the United States. And the goal is that we will feature you next time on a PowerPoint, showing you, eventually working in a hospital after you go through your education and pursuing your American, goal, your American dream of a Bachelor of Nursing. We hope it's your dream. Maybe it will become your dream after this call, and then eventually working in a hospital. How do we do that? How do we get you from the computer to being in person? So that's what today's all about. It's supposed to be practically useful for you, not just an exercise where we just have a Zoom and we feel good about ourselves. This is for you. So I hope you know that. We're all here for you today. So, all right. This is where I'm going to stop talking myself. I'm going to pass it over to our folks on the call. We have some really experienced people on this call. I think you can feel that from their introductions. But I'm going to first pass this over to Jason and then maybe Yvonne and Matilda as well, just to talk just general about maybe your experience, Jason, going from education to nursing, why nursing, the profession in general. So over to you, please.
Thanks, Eric. You know, as I mentioned, I've been a nurse for 16 years, and people always ask, what's your favorite part of being a nurse? And hands down, it's the versatility. I've always said, if you're bored as a nurse, that's 100% on you. There are over 100 different career paths within the nursing profession alone. I've done everything from working as a bedside nurse for about 14 years. I've been in nursing education for 11 years. I've pursued higher degrees within the nursing workforce. I had thought about becoming a nurse practitioner at one point. Started in nurse practitioner school with my wife, who is a hospice nurse practitioner. She's been a family nurse practitioner for 11 years now, but really gravitated towards educating. I've always loved teaching. So went on and pursued a master's degree in nursing education, and then eventually my doctorate in executive nursing leadership. So in addition to my bedside work, I've worked in primary care. I continue to work 1 day a week in primary care, seeing patients, also educating students in that area, and getting to travel. So many of you likely have an interest in travel. Nursing has brought me around the globe, whether it's through research, whether it's through opportunities to share my teaching. I've done disaster relief work in my nursing career. The world is your oyster as a nurse. It truly is. Yvonne, I see you've come off, and I'd love to see you share some of your thoughts around this.
Absolutely. So as Jason said, really the versatility is one of the things that excites me about the nursing profession. And there are people who always wanted to be a nurse. I wasn't one of those. I stumbled into nursing. I posted this Johnson and Johnson poster that really changed my life. I saw the poster and it said join the ones who dare to care, essentially. And I saw the poster and I thought, what about nursing? So I literally went to the nursing department and changed my major from business administration to nursing, and I've never looked back. I'm now an associate professor at Johns Hopkins Schools of Nursing and Public Health. I design clinical trials. I lead committees that even include physicians, epidemiologists. I get to also work with communities to promote cardiovascular health. I also get to teach. I get to testify about the importance of changing our built environment to allow people to be healthy. I get to do a lot of different things. And so, as Jason said, that's the beauty of nursing. You could start in the ICU setting and in a year decide, I want to be a public health nurse and have that flexibility to really switch. So I always say there's something in nursing for everyone. And that's the beauty of nursing. You can find that one thing and develop your expertise in it. So that's my story.
So I'm gonna go. So mine is a whole lot different. I have an older sister who was a nurse, and I saw how she was living. She had flexibility with her kids, and I was like, I'll be a nurse. I'll be a nurse. I actually was in a CNA program in high school. So my senior year, I did CNA my first half of the day, as well as clinical. So by the time I graduated, I was already a CNA. So I was able to work throughout college, going through nursing school. And, eventually my sister got her DMP and then started a business. And I'm like, okay, I want that too. So I got my DMP, went into NP school, started my own business, and I also teach. Honestly, I think I had it a little bit easy because I saw exactly what my sister was doing, with nursing and saw what she could get out of it. And I just followed right, behind her. And, really, if she was here, she would be like, yeah, my little sister, pretty much, does what I do. But I'm very, very grateful for that mentorship and that the guidance. But yeah, nursing was definitely a path for me. And being a mother, being a wife, I can totally appreciate the flexibility and just like I said, being a business owner, being able to work for myself and not have to, you know, respond to anybody. You know, that's my thing. I love my autonomy. So yeah, and I hope that for many of our diploma nurses that are on this call today in Ghana, which is one of the you know, many things that you know, Ghanaians we're looking to really encourage them to do was go beyond the diploma end of education and perhaps get their bachelor's. So yeah.
I hope
Thanks.
everyone's taking notes. There's a lot of knowledge on this call. Brilliant. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. You know, I love getting to hear all the different ways and paths that people went into nursing. And you can see just from the three of us, we've all had our various influences that led us to where we've gone. Just some other things on this slide to really point out. When pursuing any sort of educational degree, what's really remarkable about nursing is it's not only your ability to make a true impact, but there's some really great financial opportunities and flexibility with your schedule, as Matilda talked about. It's been a really great way for my wife and I to have a great work-life family balance as we raise our family. You can go to the next slide. And if you want to take it back over, Eric, feel free.
Yeah. So, you know, what I think I actually want to just go over just give you kind of an overview. And this is where there are two slides I want you to see. And this is why we're lucky to have Sabrina on this call. So here's the beautiful thing about studying, you know, coming to the US to do your Bachelor of Nursing. You will do your degree, and then there is something called optional practical training. I wonder if, Sabrina, you'd be able to talk about work authorization, you know, during your student visa.
Yeah, sure. So once you graduate your program, you get OPT, which is optional practical training, and you get that for a year. And essentially that's, you know, where we come in, we place you at a hospital. But yeah, essentially during that time, we'd also take care of all of the, you know, work authorization documents for an H-1B visa or a green card. But as most of you probably know, the green card is retrogress, so it's not really an option in present day to apply for a green card. Only two people about 2 years ago who started the process can now apply for a green card. So H-1B is the way to go. Do you want me to kind of like go through this too?
Yeah, I think like F1 student visa, so everyone's aware.
Yeah.
What is an F1 student visa, Sabrina?
Yeah, so F1 student visa is what you get when you get accepted into a US university. So what happens is you get accepted, you know, you get your offer letter, then you have to get your I-20, which is a document that you're going to have to take to your visa interview. In order to receive that, you're going to have to, you know, enroll in a full course load. You're going to have to show that you have enough funding, you know, to support yourself and any family members that are with you in the US. And yeah, so once you get the I-20, you'll make an appointment at the consulate. And in Ghana, actually, I see a lot of you are from Ghana. The wait time is very long, but don't let it scare you, because there are tips, you know, and tricks that we can use to, you know, make you not have to wait that 300 days that it's saying. And that changes on a, you know, monthly, even daily basis sometimes. So don't let that scare you. And yeah, once you get your visa, you come to the US, you study. And like I said, once your program is done, you will go on to your OPT, start working on OPT. And during that time is when we would apply for the H-1B visa. Normally, as you can see on the top line, pathway 1, there's an arrow, the last arrow says bridging options before priority date current. So normally you have to wait until your priority date via the visa bulletin. The visa bulletin is basically something the government publishes every month and tells everyone who can apply for a green card that month. And right now it's very backlogged, and normally foreign nurses would come to the US on a green card because, you know, everyone was current, everyone was allowed to apply for a green card, and nurses wouldn't have to go through the long perm process. That usually takes a year. They could have, you know, just gone right away and applied for the green card. But that's not an option right now. So to bridge the gap, H-1B is the next, you know, best way to, you know, stay in the US and keep working. And that process is really easy for nurses. They're lucky because they don't have to go through the infamous H-1B lottery, which, you know, as many of you probably hear, is very selective. I think only 20% of people get selected in the lottery every year. That's an average, but yeah, thankfully nurses, they are CAP exempt, so they do not have to register for the lottery. They can just apply for H-1B right away. And we actually just placed our first nurse and got her H-1B, so that's exciting. So it's a plausible option. And also if I don't think we have anyone from Mexico or Canada or Chile or Singapore, but there are other visa options available to you that are a little bit easier.
Thanks, Sabrina. So basically, you can see starting your studies in the United States in a Bachelor of Nursing opens up a lot of avenues post the degree. And there are a series of steps that we're going to guide you on. And it all starts with, appreciate it, Sabrina. It all starts with your Bachelor of Nursing. And I'm thinking maybe if Jason, Matilda, and Yvonne could talk about, do you mind talking about an accelerated Bachelor of Nursing versus a regular Bachelor of Nursing and the length? So we're looking at an accelerated degree here. And this is what we like to focus on. We like to highlight for you all as an option. What are the differences? Let's start with you, Jason, between accelerated and regular BSN, and how long have accelerated degrees been around? And do you think they're better? Do you think, can you talk about it, please?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that Matilda brought up the diploma nurses who are on the call today. For the last 10 years or so, there's been an increase in the number of nursing programs within the United States that offer an accelerated option. And to be eligible for an accelerated option, you need to have, in most cases, a prior baccalaureate degree, but in some cases, including some of our partner programs, individuals who have a diploma or an HND or an associate's degree also have a pathway to pursue an accelerated baccalaureate nursing degree. So the majority of baccalaureate programs, nursing or not nursing, are 4-year programs. But for students who've completed prior coursework, that timeline can be accelerated or shortened. It's important what we work on is ensuring that you have all of the skills to be successful in an accelerated nursing track. Just because it's accelerated doesn't mean that the content has been, reduced in any way. So you really need to be prepared to, what I say is hit the ground running. This is a same accelerated BSN curriculum, and you can see that it's broken down into 3 semesters. And what's really great about these programs is they give you some foundational knowledge, mostly done in what's called a simulation center, where you're able to practice your clinical skills without actually performing them immediately on a patient. You have these intensives to build that skill set, but very quickly in the program, and this is the curriculum for one of our programs, MGH IHP in Boston, that Eric will talk about in more detail in a few minutes. By week 8 of being in nursing school, you are hands-on in the hospital setting, taking care of patients. So it's really important, and we'll talk about the prerequisite courses, whether you come with a prior nursing background, or let's say you have a bachelor's degree in engineering. We have some courses that you need to complete to be ready to, as I said, hit the ground running and complete it within a short period of time. It takes 12 to 16 months in most cases to complete one of these ABSN programs. So that was a long answer to your question, Eric. In summary, the content, the learning is the same, but having the prerequisite work done in advance that we'll talk in more detail about allows you to do it in an accelerated or faster period of time.
Yeah, Yvonne and Matilda, what do you think about accelerated? And this is intense, right? An accelerated degree?
Yes.
Yvonne?
I did the traditional 4-year program, but I've also taught in the accelerated nursing program at Hopkins. And I will say that it's really a nice experience when we have, I like to say, more mature students. I've taught, classes where someone's a lawyer, someone's an accountant, someone's an engineer, and all of the students bring their experience, even if it's not in healthcare, they bring a wealth of expertise that really enriches the conversation in class. So the good thing is that it's intense, it's accelerated, it's a lot of information that you have to take in, but you won't be alone, right? You'll have a lot of adult learners. So that's the other thing I want to highlight, that most ABSN programs are really geared for adult learners. So it really requires that, map out your schedule, time management, right? You take control. This isn't a spoon feeding process. This is you're an adult. This is what needs to be covered. So as an adult learner, a lot of the programs are really tailored to adult learners. But the benefit, like you said, is that, yes, it's stressful and intense, but most institutions have the resources. So that's one thing I will highlight, though, that I appreciate, that there are resources that are available for students. So no matter where you are, and acknowledging that everyone doesn't start off on the same playing field, right? So yes, you take the prerequisites, but if you need additional support, there are often tutors who can help you along the journey, so you're not alone. So that's all I would add.
Thanks, Yvonne. Matilda, any
Yeah.
words of wisdom?
No, I think Jason and Yvonne have already gone over, just the benefits of an accelerated program. And I've taught health assessment for the last 3 years, and it's probably one of my favorite courses. But like Yvonne mentioned, like having individuals from different backgrounds, adult learners, and that's essentially one of the reasons why I like teaching in the master's entry program at Hopkins, because my students are adults, and it's just a different world. Like you have conversations where you're even learning as an educator. So I can, really appreciate it. But I think this route for folks that have children, you have a spouse, you really got to get in and out. You don't have the time to put in 2 years, or you got to take care of children. You got to take care of aging parents. You got to, it's just the way to go, and I highly recommend it.
Great. Thank you. And so, Eric, I'm responding to you. I'm not talking to myself when I say Eric, I do. Yes, you're all going to get a recording. This is being recorded, and I promise we'll leave some time for questions. So let's actually talk about with our nursing experts and gurus on this call. So this is an accelerated Bachelor of Nursing. These are prerequisite courses that we offer through our program at InSpring. So we offer these online prerequisite courses. And if you do these, you can do this. This is the Bachelor of Nursing that's accelerated, but these are the prerequisite courses that you need in order to be admissible for a Bachelor of Nursing. Jason, over to you. Wondering, would you be able to talk and elucidate us on what are prerequisite courses? How does it relate to a Bachelor of Nursing? Why are they needed?
Sure thing. So as we talked about, making this process go from a 4-year to a 1-year period of time, these are the courses that you typically first 2 years of a 4-year program. So some of you might be coming with some of these courses already completed, and we can look at whether there's opportunity for our partner programs to waive these requirements based on you having already completed them. So we can advocate for you based on the information that you're able to provide to us. And then any of the outstanding courses that either maybe you took far too, a long time ago, or you haven't taken at all, we can assist you in completing them online. We have a partnership with Portage University, and these courses each can be done in as quick as 4 weeks time, and you can complete multiple courses at a time. But we've found with our students who've gone through these or currently going through these, you can ultimately determine the period of time that works best for you, given your work schedules, your life, children, etc. But we can also help you set a target date based on when the nursing programs start. So we really map out for you as best as we can what courses you need to complete, how much time you have, and then create a plan off of that.
Thanks, Jason. So basically, you're saying you need to do this to do this. If you don't do this, you can't do this, right? Obviously, I'm making sure you're all seeing the slides and remembering what we're saying, because Bachelor of Nursing programs are so fast and intensive. A lot of students will say, oh, can I work? during my Bachelor of Nursing. I wonder if Matilda and Yvonne, would you be able to talk about, do you think people will have much time to work during their Bachelor of Nursing? It's pretty fast, right? Would you be able to, I mean, you talked about it, but it's intensive, right?
Yeah, the overall recommendation is that students don't work while they're in an accelerated baccalaureate nursing program. There are some cases where you could work upwards of 4 hours or something like that, but in general, especially starting out, it's best to really make sure you're dedicating your time and efforts towards completing this program.
Yvonne, you agree? I'll start with you.
Yes. No, I was going to add that in some cases, when students do work, it's usually maybe as a teaching assistant or as a tutor or as a research assistant. Those are opportunities that are obviously aligned with your program, but would allow you the flexibility. But this is not the kind of thing that you can plan to work, 20 hours a week, because like we said, there's a lot that comes at you fast. And if you want to be successful, you really have to, and I'll use the term sacrifice. You have to make that sacrifice and invest in getting that education. And then when you're done, you'll have the rest of your career to work. But it's often very challenging to work anything more than 5 hours a week.
Matilda.
Yeah, certainly. I definitely wouldn't recommend picking up a job, even if it was 4 hours. I mean, you're already staying up to study, prepare for exams. You already know you don't have enough rest time. So you use the time that you're thinking to get a job to rest. And that's a big deal. You gotta rest, you gotta be able to be refreshed. So these all this information will sit well and you can prepare for your NCLEX. So I do not recommend working doing this program.
Thanks. Yeah, we technically you can, and Sabrina had to run, but I'll make sure you get all the information from everyone on this panel. Basically, technically, yes, you can work on a student visa, but you won't be able to. You're not gonna have any time. So anyone that tells you, oh yeah, you can, you can manage a business or whatever you think you can do while you're gonna study, I promise you won't have the time to do it. It's extremely intensive. So this is what we do at InSpring. Okay, so I'm going to soon send some application links so that you can apply, which is totally free of charge. We do not charge for what we do. Okay, you can apply. We will review your eligibility for our US BSN programs, but I want you to see what we do in our program. We have a Launchpad program. The first thing we do is when you apply, we will assess, do you have these prerequisite courses? And even if you think you do, it doesn't mean that the university thinks you have them. There's a difference between you doing them and the university agreeing that you did them. So even if you have a course, you're like, well, I did that class. I know I did. It has to be within 7 years, and the university has to agree to waive the course. And the only way to do that is to send us course syllabi. It won't only work to see your transcript. It's a good indication. It gives Jason and me a good indication that it should be waived, but it doesn't mean it will be waived. So we will ask you for course syllabi, be prepared for that, okay? And then we will enroll you in prerequisite courses. We do offer scholarships on these prerequisite courses. So these courses, you are actually paying us for the courses, but I promise we're not making any money. Jason and I are not buying a Ferrari with your money. We will send that to Portage University and you will enroll directly with the university online, but we can control the scholarship. So you won't pay the full amount you see here if you needed all 9 classes. Every 3 classes will take you 1 to 2 months. If you need 9 classes, that will take you 3 to 6 months. If you need 6 classes, that will take you 2 to 4 months. If you need only 3 classes, that will take you 1 to 2 months. So the first thing we do is we assign you prerequisite courses that you need in terms. You don't have to pay for everything up front. You'll do it term by term. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, depends on how long it takes you. And then we're actually going to give you free NCLEX preparation. Jason, would you mind talking about what is this ATI-TEAS NCLEX practice? What is this program readiness preparation?
So some of you might have heard of ATI before. They're an NCLEX prep company. They're actually they control about 60% of the NCLEX preparatory market in the United States, but they also have something called the TEAS assessment, which assesses candidates' science, math, English, and reading skills that are really important, critical to success in nursing programs. Some of our programs require you to get a standardized score on a TEAS assessment for admission, but whether or not the program you're applying for requires that, we still put students through the ATIT Smart Prep. And it's just a way to identify areas of potential deficiencies, areas that you should really focus on improving before you start in the ABSN program. And that will really ensure your success.
Yep. And I think just remember, you're not taking the NCLEX before you arrive to the United States to do your Bachelor of Nursing, but you are taking practice tests so that it's kind of a predictive way for universities to know you will be successful. Because if you don't pass the NCLEX post your university degree in the US, you can't work as a nurse. So it's important to know, for you and the university to know, you are going to be successful while you are in a Bachelor of Nursing program before you even are admitted and go to the US. So let's talk about the part where you're probably going to hate me and maybe fall off your chair. Okay, so there's a slide coming where most people hate me and they try to choke me, but please don't do that. So here we go. We are going to get you admitted or help you to be admitted really anywhere in the United States. Any Bachelor of Nursing program in the United States that you can get into, our goal is to guide you to be admitted to those programs. We have partner universities where we have sort of an admissions framework, an admissions agreement, where we can maybe get an admissions agreement faster for you, like an admissions decision. But to be honest, the goal for us is to get you to apply to the best possible university degree in the United States, to get the best possible scholarship, to try to get the best possible loan. So here's the slide everyone hates me for. And this is where I want all of our nursing buddies on this call to talk about the reality of the cost of nursing education and scholarships and all that stuff, because it's very important for you to digest everything on this slide, but I hope you're still in the webinar and you didn't leave screaming. So here's the reality. There's one thing at the top, which is tuition, and that is crazy, okay? That's wild. I know it's a lot of money, and I know you're probably saying, well, this is crazy. How can anyone afford this? What I want you to do is go to the bottom of the page and start there. At the bottom, I have listed between $30,000 and $50,000 is a good estimate of the total out-of-pocket cost for you and your community that is going to support you after a scholarship and after any loan that you receive. And you do not pay this all up front. You would pay the university usually semester by semester. You and your community need to prepare for roughly $30,000 to $50,000 out of pocket cost over 3 or 4 semesters in an accelerated Bachelor of Nursing. This is the time to call in favors to uncle, auntie, cousin Louie, cousin Vinny in the United States, grandma, grandpa, friends, and I would love our nursing colleagues on this call to just talk about, I'm actually going to go in the reverse. Sam, you like that one. Yvonne, if you could talk, and then Matilda and Jason, can you talk about the reality of the cost kind of after scholarships and loans and sort of what things are available to students for applying, whether there are scholarships, or what should people prepare for in terms of cost? Yvonne.
Well, this is tough because some of these opportunities for scholarship also depend on the institution. So maybe coming in, if you plan to, pay like 50,000 and you complete your first semester, sometimes they do have scholarship programs for current students, right? So it's also program specific. It's hard for me to speak to sort of the situation on the ground in Massachusetts and Kansas, but the reality is nursing education is really costly. That's the reality that, I think I can be transparent about. But I think scholarships go a very long way if you can get them, and you excel in the program as well.
Yeah, Matilda, but what are your thoughts on kind of cost of education and scholarships?
I think most Americans are facing, numbers like this, right? Many of us get out of school with hefty student loans. So, this is, not unusual. Now, how do you prepare prior? Like Yvonne mentioned, without, mainly scholarships, asking family for favors. I've heard people say they've had to sell lands, your cars, and I'm not telling people what to do, but I will tell you that the end results is absolutely worth the sacrifices, or whatnot. But this is very much tough. But investing in yourself, like Charmaine said, the payback is priceless. So yeah, I think you might have to think outside the box for many of Ghanaians, especially, I know to take out a loan, I don't know, personal loan of the banks in Ghana might give you a very high interest rate, but like we said, you're investing in your education and the outcome is priceless.
Agreed. And I'll show that actually in a bit, some of the salaries of nurses. Jason, student loan, Mr. Student Loan over here, Jason, can you tell us, the
I think
cost?
they've said it all. The only thing I'll add is, you look at the estimated living expenses. If you were doing a 4-year program, you're tripling or quadrupling those. So there is some real cost savings in coming with a prior degree and doing it in 1 year.
And I think Jason makes it an important point as well. As everyone has said, this investment will pay off. But remember, I'm sure you have friends that have done their MDs in the US, they're lawyers, they're dentists, they're veterinarians. You're talking about 3 to 4 years of education if you're a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer. Whereas with a nurse, basically, we're talking one time, 1 year, in some cases 16 months, in some cases 12 months. And then, yay, you're earning money. So this is real data based on salary.com. I didn't just make this up on the back of a napkin. These are starting salaries for nurses when they graduate after doing a BSN. And this is in Massachusetts and in Kansas. I'm only showing you those states, not because they're the best states in the United States, only because we have 2 partner BSN programs there, Bachelor of Nursing programs. So I'm just giving you an idea of the take-home pay after loans and everything. And the beautiful thing is, look at this. You're going to be rolling in cash. In 3 years as a nurse, you're making really good money in the United States. In most states, you're making over 6 figures on average after 3 years of working as a regular registered nurse. Trust me, my first job out of college, I was not making $100,000. I was making $32,000 and I was living in a basement in Brooklyn because I was a psychology major. I was a moron for studying psychology. I'm not saying anyone on this call, if you like psychology, you're a moron. That's great. You love the social sciences. But doing nursing is a brilliant degree for your future, and it is sequential. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. It leads to a job, and it leads to a great outcome. So you will be paying back cousin Louie and Vinny and grandma and grandpa, and everyone you've called in favors for will be able to get their money back. That's what, Matilda said, time to call in favors. You know what we're saying? It's time. It's time to call in the favors. It's time to call your cousin that you don't even know. Hey, cousin Ralph. Oh, we're so close. Can you send me $30,000? We've all had to do it. And if you want to do this, you have to get kind of real with your network about the opportunity, and you will pay them back. Anything, Jason, I'll do the reverse. Jason, anything you want to add on?
No, I think you covered it really well and want to make sure we have some time for questions. So
Yeah. Okay. Matilda, Yvonne, you think I encapsulated cousin Vinny and Ralph?
You're doing the work in the salesman.
All right. So let's just show you what you need to apply, and we're going to start answering questions, and then I'll show you some application links. These are the 3 things you need. You do not need a background in nursing. I've seen some questions in the chat. You do not need to have a background in nursing. You need to have at least 2 years of an undergraduate degree. If you have a bachelor's, even better, but it does not preclude you from admission if you have only 2 years of undergraduate studies. You do not need to have studied anything related to nursing. You can have studied a philosophy degree. I was psychology. My brother did philosophy. You can apply. You need a 3.0 GPA. You can all do that. You're all smart on this. 3.0 GPA is like a B average, okay? And the third thing you need is a 6.5 IELTS equivalent English level. You do not need the official IELTS right now. We just need to know that your English level is at that level. And here's the 5-step process before I show you the QR code to apply. This sums up the whole thing. The only thing we ever ask you to pay us is a $300 refundable deposit we will return to you. When you are admitted to your Bachelor of Nursing, we give you back that money. Jason doesn't go and buy a brand new Porsche, okay? I promise, I'll stop him from doing that. We're kidding. We don't take your money, we give it back to you. We only ask you for $300 for your commitment to our program. And then you will do your prerequisite courses, which you're paying directly to the online university, and so on and so forth. We help you to be admitted to your nursing program. We're doing all of this free of charge. Sabrina's guiding you on immigration stuff, F1 student visa, all of that free of charge. You will then pay the university directly $30,000 to $50,000 to prepare for that out of pocket. And then the moment you pass your NCLEX, you begin working on a student visa. That's the whole idea. We are guiding you free of charge throughout this whole process. All right, so I will stop talking and I'd love to try to answer some questions. Here's a QR code for our application. I am also going to send you a link, and we really appreciate you all attending today. So that's the QR code if you all got that. I'll make sure you all get this PowerPoint as well. This is our email. And thank you to all of you who have attended. And let's start answering some questions. All right, so I'm going to leave
Thanks,
the
Eric.
QR
You can start to look at questions. I'm just going to mention two quick things.
Sure.
So first of all, a general comment. I'm seeing a lot of questions about master's programs, like family nurse practitioner programs. I'm seeing some questions about people who might already have their BSN degrees. The purpose of today's webinar is really to focus on individuals who need this education. With that said, if you're looking for a graduate degree in nursing, or if you are a BSN holder, please use the email address that Eric's going to show on the screen to reach out to us, and we can have a conversation around those types of questions. So given that we only have about 12 minutes, we want to make sure we answer the questions pertaining to the educational pipeline for BSN in the US. The other thing I will mention is that as you fill out your application, because I get the opportunity to review all of the candidates, it's really important you upload the materials as requested in the required document fields. So if it's asking for a copy of your academic transcript, make sure that's what you're uploading to that field. We can't work with evaluating your eligibility if you send us a copy of your diploma, like the certificate you got when you graduated. Our partner programs really will require that we look at your academic grades from when you went to school. So maybe that's something you have already. You might have to request it from the school you went to, and then you can upload it. So those are just kind of my two general pieces of last minutes before we dive into the Q&A. Eric, did you have a question from the Q&A you wanted to address?
Oh yeah, we have many, so I'm going to try to do my best.
Eric, can I say something though?
Yeah,
Sorry,
please.
before you start
Please.
answering. I know, a lot of people really are asking, what if I already have bachelor's? But the reality is 78% of our nurses in Ghana are diploma holders. And GDNA wants to see a lot of our nurses be bachelor's holders. So this is one of the greatest opportunities that we found, we figured we could offer, because I don't want people to think we advertise this and it's not, it doesn't even apply to them, but 78% is quite a bit. It's a large number. So this is going to benefit a significant amount of nurses in Ghana that are diploma holders and have been wanting to advance their nursing education for many years.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to what Matilda said. I'm going to keep it on this slide. When we say at least 2 years of undergraduate studies, that includes people who have a diploma, because your diploma is usually 3 years, right? or 2 years, but at least as long as we see 2 years of undergraduate studies, United States Bachelor of Nursing programs will consider you a transfer-in student, essentially. And then you will get a bachelor's degree in the United States, which is really important. All right, so where do I begin? We have so many good questions. I'm going to try to go through this from the chat, then I'll go to the Q&A. Akua asks, hey, kindly let me know if the options for someone with a BSc in mental health nursing. Yes, that's the option. Please apply. Yes. Yes. You would be part of that number one. You have at least an undergraduate degree. Yes, please apply, Akua, and I put the link below in the chat. So you have the QR code and you have the link that I sent you. Considering Samuel Bambier, asks, considering the curriculum, I think is a clear prototype of what Ghana use, will there be a course exemption? So Samuel, if you provide course syllabi, then Jason will be able to let you know if you can waive some courses. Okay, so the key is syllabi, not just if you've done the class in your transcript. Do you have this syllabi from the institution? We will guide you on that. Courage asks, any available scholarship? I would say yes. It depends on the institution. It depends on when you apply. So it depends on timing. There are scholarships available, but saying exactly what's available right now, it can be very high, up to $50,000. It can be low, it can be only $10,000. So just be prepared for that. Depends on timing. Early bird gets the worm, Courage. The sooner you apply, the sooner we can start helping you strategize where you should apply to get the best deal.
I'll add really quickly to that,
Yep.
Eric. Given the demand for nurses in the US, if, post-education, there's opportunities for tuition remission, there's scholarships that are really readily available for nurses. So, put that into account as a potential option once you complete your program.
Yep. All right, I'm just getting through the chat. Thanks, Jason. FNP programs. Yvonne, do you want to talk about? Yvonne asked in the chat about FNP. Does anyone know? What is FNP? Until then, Yvonne. Anyone know?
But these are, so our family nurse practitioners program. So I think that's a different conversation here. NPs are, advanced practitioners now. I think some of the challenges that we're facing here for Ghanaians that are looking to advance in the States. I think this is a different topic completely. I think it's worth kind of even creating a webinar to talk about advanced practice and how to potentially get these NPs or other advanced programs, how to get into them and how to work afterwards. So I don't think we can answer that today, but feel free to email us. We have plenty of NPs on our exec board and within GDNA, info@g-dna.org. We'll put in the chat so we can talk more about that.
I'm actually going to make sure Yvonne put that in the chat. I'm going to write it one more time. Please see this. No, not that link. I'll get your link. I'll get the GDNA link when I promise. All right, I'm going to stop sharing again so I can see the chat. Okay, so where did my chat go? Hold on. Please hold. Jason, can you tell a joke? Stall. Okay, here we go. Got it. Going back up. All right. Courage asks, yep, what about a degree who might want to continue their BSc degree in nursing in the States? Any chance? Yes, I would say if you have at least 2 years of undergraduate studies, please apply. Use the link I sent. Khadija says, what about nurses who already have a bachelor's in nursing? Oh, great question. Jason, do you want to just talk about if you already are an RN in your home country, can you apply?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do, and I realize all of the 85 or so of you who are on the call today are in a different situation in terms of your prior academic experience, potentially your nursing experience. Do not hesitate to send us an email, and we can kind of have that individual conversation with you and help you determine whether the Launchpad that we're talking about today is the best option or whether there's some other ways that we can help you in your journey in getting a RN license. So I'll leave it there.
Thanks. Just moving through. We're going to do our best. And if you don't get your question answered, I promise, we're going to send out a big email. You can get in touch with us. You're going to get the recording. No worries. All right, good question, good question.
I see one. If someone had a BA in communication design and has some healthcare experience, would they be eligible? Absolutely. Just to reiterate, for an accelerated baccalaureate program, an ABSN program, you do not need to have a prior healthcare degree. I like that the individual who put this in there brought up being a healthcare assistant. What is really good is that you have some form of experience in the field of healthcare. That might be working as a nurse's aide. That might be being a caregiver for a family member in the past. It really is helpful for your application. It also ensures that what you're going into is an area of interest to you. So, great question.
Thanks, Jason.
Jason,
Salome,
likewise,
yep.
sorry, likewise for midwives, right? If you already have,
Yes.
yes, and midwifery, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Let's see. I think we're almost through all the chat questions. Midwives. Yep. What's the process if you have a bachelor's in nursing majoring in mental health? Yep. Oh, with credentials, Joseph Silney. Ooh, interesting one. I don't know. Maybe that's a separate conversation. If you're doing your credential evaluation, we'll talk about that separately. That's a separate process in applying for university. We'll get back to you, okay? Anyone with an NCLEX or anything like that, it's a separate process. We're not dodging you, I promise. It's just a different conversation than what we're talking about today, which is about the education in the US. All right, we have 8 questions for Q&A. I think we can do it in 4 minutes. We can do it. Anonymous attendee asks, I was wondering if this learning opportunity is only for master's program for nurses, any opportunities for PhD aspirants? We're only focusing on the bachelor's degree today. Okay, so that's the best way I could answer that, is that we're focusing on US BSN, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. If you apply, we can help you, more specifically your case, if you're looking for like an MSN, a Master's in Nursing. Yvonne, okay, the FMP question, beautiful. Florence says, are there any opportunities for international diploma RNs? Yes, so I'm assuming you have a diploma. Yes, please apply, Florence. Anonymous attendee, please, yep. Midwifery, yes, if you have a midwifery degree or a bachelor's midwifery, please apply, also pertains to you. Lisa says, please can a fresh graduate from a nursing school in BSc apply for a master's program? Well, how about you apply, Lisa? It's free of charge. We offer the Bachelor of Nursing first, and we can assess eligibility for other programs once you apply, and Jason can see your credentials. BSc of Public Health, Kennedy says, yes, please apply. Please, Kennedy. That's perfect. Look at that. Got through all the questions. All right, so let's see. I'd say in general, BO says, what about BSc in critical care nursing? Yes, please apply. There are options if you have an RN in your home country and a BSc in nursing, or you can still apply as long as you know you're becoming a student again. You're not a practicing nurse when you go into a Bachelor of Nursing in the US until you get credentialed in the United States. Salome, we don't focus on MSNs, but we can guide you based on your application, so please apply. So I'm gonna actually let our speakers close it out. I'll start with Jason and then over to Yvonne and Matilda. Kind of closing words, thoughts, Jason?
I just want to thank GDNA for allowing us to present to all of you today. I'm so incredibly excited by the enthusiasm of everyone attending and the questions that are being asked. Do not, no question is a dumb question. If you're going to be a good nurse, that's probably one of the top rules to learn. There's no such thing as a stupid question. It makes you a good nurse, a safe nurse. Same thing applies today. Please don't hesitate to ask us any questions via email. We will respond to you and let you know the best path forward. And really excited to work with all of you. So thank you, GDNA, for this opportunity. Yvonne.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Jason and Eric. So as Matilda said at the outset, this webinar is consistent with our mission of elevating the nursing profession and linking and advancing nurses globally. And so education is one of those pathways. So we hope that you found this to be useful. And so as they said, please feel free to reach out if you have any follow-up questions. And if you want to become more engaged with GDNA, Matilda put our email in the chat. And so on behalf of our entire team, want to say thank you so much for attending today.
Yeah, and one more thing, and for GDNA members that are interested in going, this route and are questioning or wondering what does scholarship look like? I think it's worth creating a small group, supporting each other, sharing different scholarships that each person might find. So you all can, email us and we can put you all in groups and find, ways to find scholarships to make sure this becomes your reality if this is something you've been looking forward to. So yeah, that's the best thing we can do right now is to support and help you find some scholarships.
And I want to send a huge thank you to the GDNA organization. Thank you so much to our hosts, Yvonne and Matilda, and all of you for joining. We know that this is a very special opportunity to speak with all of you today. We really appreciate everyone joining us. And just remember, applying is free. It only costs you your pride. Please apply. We're nice. We want to help you. That's what we're here to do. We want to serve you and get you the best experience in the United States, the best education. So thank you so much to everyone, our hosts, GDNA, all of you that joined us today. Great questions. Thank you, Jason, Sabrina, and everyone. And we'll talk to you soon. And don't be strangers. Stay in touch, okay? Thank you, everyone. Take care. We'll send you the recording. Don't worry. We're going to send you a big email. You'll get everything. Take care. Bye.